Indigenous use of the blue wild indigo and pokeweed plants. This is the taxonomy of the blue wild indigo, also called Baptisia australis. It's a vascular plant. It has seeds. It's a flowering plant. It's a dicotyledon. It's from the pea family, and it is one of the indigos. It's found from Nebraska to Texas, all the way up to New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire, all the way to Georgia. It prefers wet, sandy, well-drained soils, full sun, similar to those of the coastal plains of North Carolina. It does best in areas where there's been fire, and it's cleared out any competing plants. It develops underground for the first 2 to 3 seasons. It's a perennial. It grows 3 to 5 feet tall. It's a member of the pea family. It has seeds and rhizomes and flowers. It's a dicotyledon, and it's hermaphroditic. The flowers grow off spiky stems shooting up from the shrub-like foliage. It blooms in late spring to early summer. Its foliage is toxic, and it has a taproot with root tubercles that help it fix nitrogen from the soil. Its leaves are smooth. It has a central vein. It's spatulate in shape with leaf tips that are mucronate to acute. The leaves grow in whorled trifoliate arrangements in alternate sequences on the stem. The Cherokee Indian used this plant as a source of blue dye for cloth. It's also called the blue false indigo because it is not true indigo that's found in India, but it is still used to make it was still used to make a blue dye. They also used it to make a medicinal tea. The hot tea is used to induce vomiting, and the cold tea prevented it. It was also pulverized by the Cherokee Indians or used as a hot tea to treat a toothache pain, and it was also used medicinally by the Osage. They use it to make an eye wash. Recent studies have shown that it can boost your immune system. The flower becomes a pea-shaped seed pod, which is about 2 inches long, and when hardened, the seeds will rattle inside. Therefore, it was used by the Native Americans, Indians, as rattles for their children. The next one is the American pokeweed. It's the Phytolacta americana. The variation that grows in the North Carolina region is the Rigida variation. It is also a vascular plant with seeds, a flowering plant, and a dicotyledon. It is from the pokeweed family. The American pokeweed, the Rigida variation, the pokeweed grows all over the United States except for in the central northern states like Nevada and Montana. The variety in the southeastern parts of the United States is the variety Rigida. It grows as far west in the United States as Texas, and it only goes up to Virginia and all the way down to Florida. It prefers moderately moist soil and full to part sun. It's a perennial. It can get up to 10 feet tall. It's a member of the pokeweed family. It's a vascular plant. It has seeds. It's a dicotyledon. The flowers grow off of spiky offshoots that grow from the base of the leaves or the tips of the stems of the plant. The flowers become small purple berries that produce a bright red juice. Its mature foliage is toxic. However, the younger plants, if cooked correctly, can be consumed and were actually consumed. The American pokeweed's leaves are smooth. It has a central vein, and they're ovate in shape. The leaf tips are acute, and they grow in simple alternate arrangements on the stems. The historical uses of it, the seeds were used to make jewelry by the Native Americans. The Native Americans in Virginia used the juice from the pokeberries as paint and dye. The root of the plant was used to make a tea to help ease aching joints like rheumatism. The leaf of the plant was applied to the skin for skin ulcers, eczema, poison ivy, rashes, and warts. It was also eaten by the Native Americans. Early explorers brought it back to Europe, and the juice was used to color wine before they stopped doing that because it was toxic. The berry juice was also used during the Civil War. The soldiers used it to write letters. The juice of the pokeberry was used to color the first California state flag. Benjamin Franklin also wrote about the juice of the pokeweed being used to cure cancer. The berries were used to make a wine to treat rheumatism and as a laxative. They were also rubbed on skin ulcers and eased breast pain from breastfeeding. The leaves were also used as an emetic, blood-building tonic, and a laxative. The current uses show that are being used to, or the current uses are that it's being studied to explore the its antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and cell division disruption properties. The studies examine the use of this plant for the treatment of tonsillitis, mumps, glandular fever, and swollen glands. The berry juice for its cancer-fighting properties, treatment of hemorrhoids, tremors. Juice from the berry has also been used in the treatment of cancer, hemorrhoids, and tremors. The plant has also been used to treat HIV, herpes, and cancer, or being studied for that. Its dye is used in food and wine for coloring, and the dye is also used as an ink. There's also a website on Facebook where they have the art that's been used from the pokeweed berry ink, and there's the recipe for how to make the ink. And here are my references.